I don't care if you have been married for 2 years or 25 years. You can still be attracted to your spouse and still get them to be attracted to you. And you can have great sex. You don't have to live like roommates or like cohabitants raising this family but never really talking or having any romantic connection. It doesn't have to be that way. That is the biggest myth in our society, that it's inevitable that in a marriage all of the passion, the romance, the attraction, the sex just falls off. And it's true, it does tend to happen, but it doesn't have to be that way. That is why I'm going to share with you these 4 ways, simple, effective ways that you can attract your spouse again and bring that spark back into your marriage. I'm Rachael Sloan. I help anxious people save their marriages by overcoming their intrusive thoughts in just 30 days. If you are sick of living like roommates, if you're worried that this lack of passion or attraction is going to ruin your marriage, book a strategy session with me today. There is a link in the description, and I am here to help, and I will show you how to take these tips and more so much deeper and really create the kind of marriage, the kind of passion, the kind of attraction that you want. Today, though, I'm going to give you 4 simple tools you can use on your own starting right now to spice things up and attract your partner again. So the first 2 tips, the first 2 ways to attract your spouse again are all about ramping up your attraction for them. Because let's face it, there is nothing sexier than somebody wanting you. So that is what we're going to do for your spouse. I know right now you want them to see how beautiful and sexy and funny and amazing you are, but are you seeing that in them? And if you're not, then you need to spice that part up for yourself and for them, because it's hard for them to turn their attention to be attracted to you when they're not getting that vibe back. When they're not getting, it's hard for anyone to be the first one to put it out there. So I want you to be the bolder, braver partner and start getting attracted to your partner again, all on your own. If you just do these 2 things, it will revolutionize your sex life, I promise you. So the first is to find things about your partner that turn you on. Find 1 thing, 2 things maybe, and notice them intentionally at least 5 times a day. So it could be anything. Maybe it's a physical feature. Maybe it's their arms or their hair or their butt. Maybe it is their smile or the tone of their voice. Something about them that excites you, that makes you feel a little spark of physical attraction. And if you're having a hard time identifying something because you've been so busy just noticing how like they don't clean up their socks or they yell at the kids too much or whatever it is, go back and think about when you first met. When there was first this attraction between you, what was it then that turned you on? What was the thing about them? And borrow from that. Borrow some of the thoughts you had at the beginning of your relationship, because those were the thoughts that made you feel passionate and attracted then. Borrow those. Find ones now that make you feel a little bit of attraction, a little bit of a sexual spark for your partner. Pick 1 or 2 things, practice it 5 times a day, notice it. And do not try to censor your other thoughts. It's okay if you still have the thoughts about them, like not picking up their socks. That's fine. Leave that thought in there. Don't try to make it go away. But add on top of it how sexy their arms are, right? Or how you love the way they smile. So adding on thoughts that make you feel more attracted to your partner. That's the first way to start attracting them by making yourself more attracted to them. So the second thing you want to do is start to listen. And I mean really, really, really listen to your partner. Again, think back to the beginning when there was that passion, when there was that attraction. At that point, you didn't know anything about this person and you were so hungry to get to know them. You wanted to know everything about them. Who are they? What is their family like? What do they do for a living? What are their dreams? What are their hopes? What are their biggest fears? Right? You were so curious about this person, about who they are and how they experience the world. When was the last time you asked those kinds of questions? And when was the last time you really sat, were really present, and really listened to the answer? So I'm telling you, turn off your phone, close your computer, sit down with your spouse, ask a meaningful question, and then shut up. Don't say anything. Be there and listen with that curiosity, that desire to know this person. If you do this exercise, what's going to happen is you are going to find that some of that spark revives for you because you're going to get to know your partner in a way that you haven't for a long time. You can live with somebody for 20 years and never ask these kinds of questions and never really know what's going on in their mind. What are they afraid of? What do they really want? What is their biggest dream? Why aren't they going for it? Right? Who is this person? What experiences shape them? I'm willing to bet there's even a lot of things from their past that you don't know. So if you can cultivate that curiosity, it's going to make you more interested in them. And it's also going to give them this opportunity to really be heard and really open up. So this is like attracting your spouse in two ways. One, you're getting attracted to them. And remember, there's nothing sexier than when somebody is really into you, right? That is one of the big things that draws you to another person, is the fact that they are so interested in you. And it's also going to make your partner attracted to you because they're going to be like, wow, it feels so good to be in their presence because they listen, because I can open up, because I have this space where I can really be myself and somebody cares. So these two things are so powerful. If you do nothing else, notice things that are sexy about your partner and practice really, truly listening. But I would recommend you do the other two things also, because the other two ways to start attracting your partner again are all about making you attracted to yourself. Because you're wanting your partner to see that you are sexy and funny and beautiful. But do you believe those things about yourself? Do you see your own beauty? Do you see how sexy and funny you are? If you're not seeing those things in yourself, if you're not believing them, then honestly, it doesn't even matter if your partner does. Because if they come to you and notice, if they start to be attracted to you and they notice how beautiful and sexy you are, but you don't believe that for yourself, you're going to reject that. Doesn't matter how often they say it, you're not going to believe it's totally true. You're going to think they're placating you, or they're just trying to improve the relationship or whatever, but you're not going to believe that it's because you are amazing, unless you have already done the work and shown yourself that you are amazing. So these two techniques are all about you and your relationship to you as a hot, sexy, amazing, attractive thing. I almost said beast, but I don't care. Man, woman, whatever you are. It's all about you cultivating the sense of how awesome I am. And that is going to go a long way towards attracting your spouse again. So the first thing you want to do is a lot like what you're doing for your partner. I want you to pick a couple of things about yourself that you really love. Things that turn you on, things that are sexy, body parts you love, things that are amazing about you, preferably in this case, physical things, because most of us are incredibly self-deprecating when it comes to our physical appearance. So I want you to go out there with the intention of being kind of vain. Find things about yourself that you just think are amazing. Maybe it's your hair, maybe it's your nose, maybe it's your belly or your butt. I don't care. Maybe it's your fingers. Whatever it is, I want you to spend a little time really adoring these features of yourself. Noticing how beautiful, how amazing, how sexy. And yes, this sounds a little bit silly and it sounds a little self-centered, but I promise you it is going to improve your sex life like gangbusters, because it's going to help you step into your body and own how awesome you are. You are going to feel so much more confident, so much more beautiful, and so much sexier. And that is going to change the entire way that you show up when you relate to your partner, especially physically. And the last way to start attracting your partner again is to get incredibly clear on who you are and what you want. So most of us have this vague sense that our partners aren't fulfilling our needs. They're not making us feel loved. They're not satisfying us sexually. They're not making us feel validated. Right? There's not enough affection. But we're really vague on what exactly we need in order to feel those things. And the reason we're so vague is the truth is your partner can't give you those things. That validation, that love, that certainty has to come from within you. You create all of those feelings for yourself with the way you think. And as you start to believe that you are amazing, that you are worthy, that you are lovable, you step into a really powerful place within yourself. You can cultivate and create all of that for you, and it transforms the way you show up in your relationship. And it is also incredibly attractive to other people, right? You get to a space where you are no longer relying on your partner. You're not using them A coach I work with calls it the validation vending machine. You're not using your partner as this validation vending machine anymore. You're not using them to feel good. You are making yourself feel good, and your partner is there for you to enjoy loving, and that completely changes the way you show up, and it's incredibly attractive to be around a person who doesn't want anything from you, who doesn't need anything from you, who knows what they want, who's creating it for themselves, and who just loves you unconditionally the same way they love themselves. So this last one can take some work, but I want you to start by getting really clear on what it is you think you want in this relationship. And look at how you think your partner is supposed to give it to you. And I want you to find ways that you give those things to yourself, whether it's validation, whether it's affection, whether it's love. Because we're looking for these things from our partner, it means that we are not granting them to ourselves. All right, guys, let's do a quick recap. 4 ways to attract your spouse again. 1, notice sexy things about them intentionally and practice it. 2, listen. Put down those electronics, ask meaningful questions, and pay attention. Next is to get sexy in your own skin. Start to notice things about yourself that you love, that you think are so attractive, and focus on them and notice them intentionally 5, 10 times a day. Promise you, this one will transform your sex life because you are going to show up in such a different way in your own body. And finally, get some real clarity on what you want and what you think your partner is supposed to do to give it to you. And then ask yourself the question, how do I create these things for myself? How am I not creating them for myself now? And how do I want to create them for myself going forward? And if you would like to really get to the heart of that last one, to really understand how to rewire your brain, to feel that validation, that love, that confidence from within, without relying on anyone else for that validation, click on the link below and book a free strategy session with me. We'll get to know everything about your particular situation, and I will show you all of the tools that you can use to achieve that inner, deep self-love, self-acceptance, and confidence that is going to save your marriage. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to turn on notifications. I'll be putting out a lot more content that will help you not only save your marriage, but enrich it and make it the most amazing relationship, the one that you want. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.